to Goat Chats. We're so excited you're here. Yay! It's our
Thanks
favorite
for
one.
having me.
Yay! We have some awesome guests today. We have Callene Rapp with the Cindra County Zoo and the Arapawa Goat Breeders Association. We're so excited to chat with you today about Arapawa goats. They're so cute and amazing.
Yes, they are.
And then we also have Cindra Kerscher here. And I'm Brittany Sweeney, Communications Manager at the Livestock Conservancy. Cindra, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Goattober. We are thrilled to have Callene Rapp here with us today to talk about a goat that I have yet to meet or learn a whole lot about. So, yes, as program coordinator of the Livestock Conservancy, I'm always looking to learn more. And I guess you guys are too, since you're watching.
Callene, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. I'm Callene Rapp, and for my day job, I am the zoological manager of the children's farm at Sedgwick County Zoo in Wichita, Kansas. And then for my night job, my husband and I also have a farm east of Wichita where we raise piney woods, American blue and white rabbits, American chinchilla rabbits, and Mankin Bantams, and then of course Arapawa goats. So I kind of like go to work and do this and then go home and do the same thing. So either I'm crazy or I love it.
I think you might love it. Didn't you? And didn't you recently publish a book as well?
Yes, we did. We actually earlier this year published our second book. Our first one was on rabbit husbandry, and the one that came out this year is on cattle. So
very nice. Congrats on that.
Thank
I have
you.
actually seen that. It looks like a really lovely book, actually.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it is available in our store for anybody who's curious. Yes. But we're here to talk about goats today. So, Callene, Arapawas. What should we know about Arapawas?
Before we get started,
sorry.
We have to do a shout out to our sponsor.
That's a good idea.
We're just so excited for goats. We just couldn't wait.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So big thank you to Meta Pro for sponsoring our goat chat today and sponsoring Goat Month. We appreciate all you do. I'm going to play a quick little video from them, but please stick around. It's only 1 minute, and then we're going to jump in and talk about goats. I know. I can't wait either.
Champions, colleagues, roommates, and personal trainers. Whatever role they play, they're an important part of our lives. In their quiet way, and their not-so-quiet way, they keep us young, on our feet, on the go. They pull us back to nature and push us toward the next adventure. And as much as we count on them, they count on us all the more. To nurture their lives with the same commitment, to protecting them, helping them grow and thrive, treating them as well as they treat us, by giving them a little more of our lives. Because no matter what role they play, out here or in here, we're here to make their lives the best they can be. ManaPro, nurturing life.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around, and thank you to Meta Pro. I know I'm so excited to talk about Arapawas now. All right. And if anybody's just tuning in, feel free to let us know you're here in the comments or send Callene a question, and we'll get to those in a little bit. Cindra, take it away.
Take it away. Okay, thanks. Arapawas. I think the question was, Callene, what should we know about Arapawas?
And the answer, of course, is that they're awesome. I mean, I have to confess, I don't even know that I really like goats as a species, but I love Arapawa. They're a real charismatic goat. I love the fact that they're literally the box of chocolates. No two look alike. They produce a decent amount of milk for the size of the goat. And while I have not personally dove into the meat production characteristics of them, I know some of our members have done that and say it's pretty amazing. So, they're clever. I always swore that on our farm at home, I would never have an animal that much smarter than I was. But we have Arapawa, and so they keep us on our toes.
Okay, so the plural of Arapawa is Arapawa. I need to not say Arapawas. Thank you for the clarification.
I mean, that's okay. The goat police will not come and take your goats away from you, but
all right, so they sound like wonderful little friends to have on the farm. Size-wise, you mentioned the size, that they're not huge, but they're not small.
Right. They're medium size. The does are around 60, 80 pounds. The bucks can be up to like 120 or so. So, medium sized, big enough to do something, but not so big, they'll run over you. Most of the time.
And everybody has their own personality, though, right?
It's true. It's true.
And what about their temperament?
They are really, sweet-natured goats. Of course, you have to respect their biology. Bucks, when it's breeding season, are not as sweet. And a doe with kids wants to do her thing. But for the most part, they're very people friendly, especially if they get socialized at a young age. So they're just really, nice goats. Yeah.
So good goats for a family, like if you said early socialization with the kids.
And we have a pretty large herd here at the zoo, and they're in one of our contact yards. So people are able to go in, interact with them. We don't let people feed them in there because that just breeds chaos, but they can brush them. The goats really seem to enjoy the interaction. And so it's a lot of fun for people.
That's really nice. And how about mothering ability? What are the does like as far as that goes?
They're really, most of the time, good moms. Sometimes your first time moms just have that, oh my God, what just happened moment where they, don't realize what happened. But we very rarely have any problems with them rejecting their kids or, not being able to raise them, unless there's, of course, like some management issue. You can't blame the goat for that, but for the most part, they do pretty well.
Nice. And are they typically, do they usually have singles, twins, triplets? What's expected for Arapawa?
I would say probably a good 60 to 70% of the time they have twins, especially second-time moms. It's not super uncommon for a first-time mom to just have a single, but it does happen occasionally. But like last year, out of the 10 does we bred, I think we had all 10 twin. So
nice. And then what are you moving over into kind of what you're doing, what your project is there on the zoo? Are you guys keeping all the offspring every year when you breed, or are you?
No. Okay. Nope. We're exploring different things. I mean, our herd, for several years, our herd had been fairly small. We started in 2000 with a pair of goats that we got from Plymouth Plantation. And so they were our only ones for a while. And then, they're not easy to find. We were pretty much the only ones in the Midwest, except for one other lady in Missouri who had them. And so it's hard to add, to your herd. But slowly when, we'd find something available, we'd add it. And then it just kind of has snowballed from there to the 45 or so we have today. It just took a little time. So initially we did keep pretty much everything, just to try to build a herd and get some numbers and things like that. But now we do make breeding stock available to people.
Nice. Very good. Callene, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the breed?
They've got a very interesting history. They were descended from goats that had been released on Arapawa Island, which is a small island off the coast of New Zealand. Alison Sutherland, who is the leader of the our counterpart in New Zealand has done extensive research. I mean, going back through, centuries old books and notes and things like that, and traced the voyage of Captain Cook through those islands. And so, near as we can figure, they're the result of goats that were given to the Maori population by Captain Cook in the 1700s, that then just became a feral breed off of the island and developed their own, unique characteristics, and just as kind of an isolated population. They don't really link DNA-wise to any other known breed. The nearest they can figure is that they are somewhat descended from, New World goats that would have been in, that area at the time, but they really just are outliers for everything. So it's kind of fascinating. None of there was at one time thought that they might be descended from the extinct Old English milk goat, but the recent DNA work that Allison did kind of negates that, because they just don't really prevent it. The Old English goat is extinct, so we can't really do, DNA testing on them. But they just really are an enigma as far as what their foundation really is.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. So your original pair, you said, came from Plymouth Plantation. Did they come directly from New Zealand?
Yes, they were the first ones to import them back in, I think, the late 80s, early 90s. And my understanding is that they were looking for a goat that fit the Old English milk goat appearance. And so they found the Arapawa and imported them there. And I think they used them in some of their living history stuff. I'm not kind of real sure where they're at, with that right now, but that's how they came to the U.S.
And then, is there like a lot of, since we don't necessarily know the foundation, it sounds like, do we have specific lines of Arapawa in this country, or is it such a small pool that it's all one big happy family?
Yes and no. They all did start from a certain founder population, but as numbers of goats have increased, as more breedings have happened, more goats are on the ground. We do feel like we're starting to see some bloodlines show up, even in that homogenous population. You can see certain types that are inherited, from mom to daughters, so, I mean, there are some bloodlines kind of starting to emerge. And then there were a few, we tried importing some semen several years ago, and we have gotten a few kids on the ground from that. SVF farm had done a lot of work with Arapawa, and so they had some good success with using some of that semen. So there's a few bloodlines.
Great.
So, and I think the more, goats get out there, the more that's gonna, kind of help with the, the small population issues.
Right. Yes, more bloodlines, a little more diverse genes will help with conservation efforts for sure.
Yeah. So and trying to get. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to take us on another tangent. So if you have an additional comment to that.
Yeah, no, I was just saying we're critically rare population. Our censuses show there's about 200, 250, but we are hoping to encourage new breeders to try to get more small herds, so that some of that internal selection can kind of start to take place to help increase the diversity.
And it sounds like they're an excellent breed for a beginner because of their ease in handling and temperament and self-sufficiency on the island for so long.
They are pretty hardy. They tolerate. I mean, Kansas has wacky weather. You can literally have all 4 seasons in a week.
Wow.
And they tolerate the weather swings and things like that really well. Like most goats, they're not fond of rain, but that's a goat thing.
Yeah. So, given the fact that they do come from an island where they probably had no barns to get into for however many years,
Mm-hmm.
do they need, like, what kind of infrastructure does one need to have in order to keep these guys?
They don't need a heated barn. At our farm at home, we just have run-in sheds that does them well most of the time. We do have a couple of small stalls in a barn for that, doe that decides to kid at the worst possible moment. But most of the time, they really handle the weather pretty well.
Okay, good. And what are they like to, what are their other necessities as far as, if someone wanted to get into these guys, into raising Arapawa, what do they eat? What do they, do they have any kind of health issues that someone needs to look out for? That sort of thing.
They are pretty hardy. One of the biggest issues that we have had was that we started having some problems with copper deficiency.
Okay.
And as we started just seeing symptoms, trying to figure out, what was going on, we looked back at the grain we had been receiving, and they had switched suppliers. And so we were getting a sheep and goat grain, which sheep are much more sensitive to copper. So anything that is bundled for both is going to be way too low copper for goats.
Right.
So once we found that, addressed it with some, gave them free choice minerals, and that really helped turn that around. So I think that I don't know, I don't want to say that I think Arapawa have a higher need for copper than other breeds, but we did have some overall herd problems that we were able to fix by getting them on a good mineral supplement. So that'd be one of the biggest pieces of advice for anybody getting into them, is just make sure that they're on either a good goat specific grain or supplemental minerals.
Now, do they need the grain though? If they're out on pasture and sufficient enough pasture for the stocking rate, do they need the supplemental grain or just the free choice minerals?
I think it depends on what you're asking them to do. Does that are lactating are probably going to have a higher nutrient requirement. So much depends on your available forage, browse. Goats love to browse. They're more browsers than grazers, so if you've got a lot of access to that, you may not need to. But where we're at, our pasture, well, we probably have more goats than we do pasture. We'll just say that. So, we do supplement with grain and hay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. How about breeding? Do you guys at the zoo have to play, aside from selection of who you want to breed, is there much of a role that you have to play, or are they pretty efficient at getting the job done themselves?
We pretty much just get out of their way. The bucks have a real good libido. When the does are receptive, everything just works. So we haven't had to do, much of anything with that.
Great.
So let nature take its course.
And that's pretty typical of the breed?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. They sound like
and
easy keepers.
They really are. And most of the time, only rarely have we ever had problems with the does kidding. Most of the time it's been, a malpresentation, which, happens sometimes, but most of the time they kid pretty easy and are pretty robust.
Nice. And you said you do not use them for milking or meat, but generally speaking, are they pretty good? I mean, if they're having twins, they've got to be decent milkers. Do you know of anybody that's using them specifically for milking?
I don't know of anybody that is using them specifically. I do know a couple of our members have use their milk in products. We've got a couple that have done soap and some cheeses and things like that. So, but so far, no one I know of has an Arapawa-based home dairy yet.
Yeah. But for personal use, they're producing enough that they can use it. That's great.
And I'm hoping, I don't know, the last couple of years have derailed many plans for everybody, but I'm hoping that this 2022 kidding season, we're able to do some milking with our goats at home and try experimenting with that. I don't know how it's almost the end of 2021 already. I mean, my to-do list is still 8 miles long.
Mm-hmm. I know. And it keeps getting longer and the year keeps getting shorter.
Yep.
I hear you. Have you had the opportunity to try any Arapawa cheese?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I hope you get the chance to get it going on your own farm then.
Yep.
I'm curious to know how it tastes.
Yep. We will report in.
Wonderful. What else do you think we need to know about the breed? What should folks who are not familiar with Arapawa?
Well, it's not really breed specific, but animals like this are a commitment. Make sure that you really know what you're getting into, before you make the plunge. They are goats, which, the joke on our farm is goats are like fencing water, because if they can find any way through the fence, they will. So you need to make sure you've got, good infrastructure, and that, you're doing everything you can to take care of them well. But that's not specific just to Arapawa.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of fencing, what would be the recommended type of fence for Arapawas? Arapawa.
We've got majority of our internal pins are 2x4 wire. I do have one group that's in the electric poultry net fencing.
Yep.
And once they figured out that was electric, they don't want anything to do with it. So they're smart, and they can be trained, to that pretty easy, as long as you maintain your fences.
Good. Sounds like it's duck month. I was going to ask you about using the poultry netting or the sheep netting for rotational grazing, whether or not they would behave themselves around it.
We've had good luck with that on our farm. Like I said, once you get it hot, until then, it's any fence is fair game. So,
do you have a visitor?
I do have a visitor.
Awesome.
I'm so excited.
Hello.
Oh. Brittany and I want one.
Yep.
Okay. I know. Look at that. This is Juniper, and she is one of our kids that was born this year. And the human who brought her is Kaylee. Who has spoiled her. Yeah. Juniper got off to a little bit of a rough start as a baby. And so she got spoiled. So, that's what you do when you have a spoiled goat. You spoil it further. So what she is going to be in training for is to be a demo animal here at the zoo. So we're going to train her to do meet and greets and all sorts of, love hugs, that kind of thing. Yeah. Just to kind of help promote breed awareness. As you can see, they're very food motivated.
She's adorable. Now, the patterning on her face, you call that badger face, right?
Badger face, yep.
And that is a standard of all Arapawa, correct?
It really is. We have had solid black goats show up, and the badger face is not visible. But, who knows with black, maybe it's just covering everything up. But, yeah, they pretty much all distinctly, I'm just kind of a little kid, have those badger face stripes. And one of the things I've tried to do with registrations is we've moved to having a picture of the goat on the paper,
Mhm.
and it's actually you can almost use those stripes like fingerprints to tell the difference between goats. There's
Wow.
just subtle variability, between each goat. Even a couple that look alike, if you stand there and look long enough, you can see subtle differences. So,
Wow. Very cool.
yeah.
And so the photos that we have on our website are darker colored.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, is it kind of a rainbow here with Arapawa or
There
just
really is. They can range from like this kind of, sandy color. Her mom had a long coat, or so she's going to have the longer coat. But yes, you're a very snuggly goat. Um, you know, most of them will be a lighter color in the back. You're not being a very good model. A lighter color in the back, and then darker cape over the shoulders and neck. So even the ones that are real light colored will still have that shading. A dorsal stripe is pretty common. Um, the solid black ones are the only exception that I've run across.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do they always have those super adorable ears with a little kink in them?
their ears can either be this kind of airplane ear, or they can be long and floppy. They don't tend to have, really upright ears. You want to chew on my desk, don't you? Yep, busted. But anyway, as you can see, they really are schmoozers.
Yeah, she's adorable.
Oh,
What a love.
Yep. So
Now, when did she start developing her horns? At what age?
they start developing the buds at about a month for the females. The bucks, you can feel them within a few days of birth.
Okay. And do they all develop the horns, or do you ever come across a polled?
I have never seen a polled one.
Okay.
So, and as we get more goats, you're being very dramatic. As we get more goats on the ground, and make different crosses, it might show up. I kind of doubt it. I think just from the way the being such a small population, there's not a tremendous amount of variability. But you never want to say never.
Yeah.
You want to go back to your mom?
She is so cute.
yes.
Those ears are great.
And to pass her back to Kaylee. We're bringing her in. Oh my goodness, she's gained weight. Yep. Good job. Good job.
So she was very quiet.
Yeah.
But you guys have a sizable herd. Do they get very vocal at certain times of day, or it's certain things flying around, or people, or?
About the only thing that makes them really get very vocal is if we're late with breakfast. That's kind of a deal breaker for them. But most of the time they're pretty quiet.
Pretty chill. Yeah. Cute. I think this is an appropriate time, Brittany, to show a couple of other photos so we can show the color varieties that are present amongst the Arapawa.
Sure, I'll put them up, and Callene, if you want to talk about them.
Yeah, this is at the zoo, and this is we have a group of wethers that we can take to certain areas of the zoo. Being an environmentally conscious institution, we try to not use chemical weed control if we can avoid it. And so places where there have been poison ivy, we've set up pins and put the goats in there to eat down the poison ivy. So this is Stitch, and he's one of our grazing goats.
I love it.
Super cute.
And right now he's just out in what we call our night pasture. It's where everybody, all the zoo farm animals go out there at night. We can feed them big round bales of hay, and it lets them exercise and interact with each other in a way they couldn't, on exhibit. So he's made his way to the top of the hay bale.
Oh,
wow. And this is Aristides. He's one of our breeding males. He's a messy eater, as you can tell. But neat thing about him is you can see those really wide, beautiful, wide-swept horns that are characteristic of the Arapawa males.
He's very handsome.
Mm-hmm.
And is that a beard, Callene?
Yep, it sure is. Most of the, I guess I'll say all the males tend to have a really full beard, and you will sometimes see beards on the does as well.
And I'm also seeing what looks like long hair right in front of his back leg. Is that?
Yes, that's something you see as well pretty commonly. A lot of the goats will have, we call them bloomers. I'm not sure that's a technical term, but a lot of them will have that extra hair on the back legs in varying degrees, and then we have some that are, long-haired all over.
Wow. He's very handsome.
Oh, that's at our farm. That is our part of our doe herd, and they were protesting the rain that we've been having for days. So that's why they look really offended. But again, you can see some of the color variations. There's a doe with a beard. That light colored doe has a beard, but like the one next to her does not. So it just kind of shows a little bit of the variability in the colors, the patterns, the face stripes, and everything.
They're lovely.
Yeah, they really are beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, that's one of the does at our house, Miss Juno. She's a doe that originally was born at the zoo and then made her way around back to our farm. You can see she's still got the longer, hair on the back legs, and then solid black, but still with the badger stripes. And then the little doe kid next to her is her daughter.
Oh, I love the little white necklace.
Yeah, isn't that cute?
Yeah. Very sweet.
Yeah. Oh, that didn't turn out so good, but that's just some of our wethers interacting with a couple of our zoo cows. I'm not sure if this is like a potential, turf war about to break out or what, but the wethers look like they've got their posse together for sure.
Yeah.
And then that was our guest of honor, Juniper, checking out the wheelbarrow when we clean the yards, just to make sure we haven't accidentally gotten rid of something she might want to eat.
I think we've got one more.
Oh, yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're pretty athletic. This is at our farm. My husband put, some browse in there, and she was going to make sure she got it no matter what.
That's amazing.
Yep. They're very agile.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how high can they jump? Like, what height do you need to keep? I see you looks like an extension on your original fence there.
Probably did. I think right now we're at about 4.5 to 5 feet, and they don't make it over that.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. As long as they don't have anything to.
And see, that's just it. You give them a step stool.
Nice.
They're going to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. They're a very cute breed. I like their look very much. The gentleman, I've forgotten his name. Your ram, your breeding ram with the long Aristides. How old was he? How long did it take him to reach those impressive?
He is, I believe, 9.
Okay.
Right now. So, it took a few years, but I mean, he's had a pretty impressive set of horns for a while.
Yeah. That was pretty neat. Brittany, do we have any questions?
I think we might have a couple. Let's see. Jean says, hi from Michigan. Hi, Jean. Thanks for joining us today. Hello. We're so glad you're here. Let's see. Gabrielle says, the Conservancy has a few copies of Goat Care in Spanish. That is true. Yep.
Thanks for the reminder, Gabrielle.
And thanks for tuning in today. We're so glad you're here. And that's it. That's our shout outs for today. If anybody has questions for Callene, please let us know. We'll be taking it for the next few minutes.
If I don't know the answer, I'll make something up.
My dad used to always say correct answers cost more. So.
Yeah, exactly. Would it be rude for me to point out behind me the cover of our Arapawa calendar for the year?
Not at all. Go
It would
for
not
it.
be rude. Yes, please do.
Our association has been growing, and we're trying to expand member services and do more things. We've got a great new website that's been up for a couple of years. And one of our board members likes to do fundraising type things for the membership and stuff like that. So this year's fundraiser is this Arapawa calendar back here with, we actually did kind of a photo contest, invited members to submit photos, and went through, and the winner got to be the cover goat. And so our members were able to have photos featured in that, and then we're also selling it through our website for just kind of a fundraiser.
That's awesome. I'm going to put your website up. It's arapawagoatsusa.org.
Yep.
And that's exactly like it sounds, ARAPAWAGOATSUSA.org. So please go and buy some calendars and see all those awesome pictures.
Brittany and I did get to look at those photos. They are awesome pictures.
We do have some talented members and some very charismatic, photogenic goats. So
yes, very much so. Brittany, do we also have a link to the Sedgwick County Zoo?
We do, yes. So I have their website. It's SCZ, Sedgwick County Zoo.org. O-R-G.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, please go check out their awesome stuff. And then I think they're also on Facebook and Instagram at Sedgwick County Zoo.
Yes. And the Arapawa Goat Breeders Association also has a Facebook. Yep.
And that's at Arapawa Goat Breeders. So go check out their awesome photogenic goats. They're real cute.
And get yourself a calendar.
Yep, get yourself a calendar and a goat.
If not, a couple of goats.
Yep.
And Callene, you also have a website. It's rarehairbarn.com.
You sure do. So anybody who's interested in Arapawa is welcome to contact me, any of the board members at any of those social media outlets or email or anything like that, and we'll be happy to try to help if we can.
Thank you, Callene.
Yes. Let's see. I think we got another comment in. Emily says, "Hi, Callene." Hi, Emily.
Hey, Emily. Emily is our association vice president, and she's also the mastermind behind the other side calendars.
Nice.
All right. That's awesome.
Hello, Emily.
Let's see. Hi, Erin. Thanks for joining us today. We're so glad you're here. Erin says, "Love the Arapawa website. So much fun to listen to this while I put farm stuff away for the winter. Keep up the great work, everyone."
Thank you. Yeah, our website is really, really great. It was a big change, but it's amazing. You know, a good website does a lot for you, and so we're super happy to have that.
Mm-hmm. Is that something one of your members put together for you, Callene, or did you source that outside?
No, actually, it was Emily. She did the Arapawa Association website and also helped us redesign Rare Hair. So
nice, very nice.
Yep.
It is a beautiful website.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Well, Callene, is there anything else you want to? We're kind of doing our fun shameless plug time, which is perfect. Is there anything else we should plug today?
No, I think that's it. Other than, the goats need good breed stewards. So if you've thought about getting goats and there's something about the Arapawa, that appeals to you, let us know. We really need committed breed stewards. And, the breed is critically rare. Last year, we only registered 74 goats. And that was a huge upswing from prior years. We actually only averaged about 30 or 40 in any year prior to the last couple. So it's a population that really could use some dedicated breed stewards. So if you want to have goats and a mission at the same time, look us up.
Awesome.
That's wonderful. Yes, please reach out to Callene and anyone from the Arapawa Goat USA website. They will love to tell you more about this amazing breed. Or look them up on Facebook and be Facebook friends.
We're not hard to find.
And then I'll also say thank you to ManaPro for sponsoring Goat Chats today. And thank you to all of our wonderful member and sponsors for helping make content like this possible. We appreciate all you do in making it possible for us to chat with our awesome experts like Callene. We wouldn't be able to do it without you. If you're not a member and you want to become one, we encourage you to go to our own website, livestockconservancy.org, and become a member. It helps support breeders and of Arapawa goats and other endangered goats, as well as the other breeds on our conservation priority list, and support educational programming like today. Am I forgetting anything else, Cindra?
Not that I can think of. I'm the one that'll think of it after we end the chat. But I guess that's what Facebook comments are for, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, thank you again, Callene. It was such a wonderful chat today. I learned so much.
Thanks for joining us.
And tune in again next week. We're not doing a species chat. Jeanette is doing a poultry chat with the Food Animal Concerns Trust. So we encourage you to go and learn all about heritage poultry with her if you're thinking about getting into turkeys or chickens or ducks or geese. Please do that. But then we'll be back with turkey guests to celebrate Turkey Month in November. I know I'm sad to wrap up Goat Month, but super excited to talk about tasty turkeys. So.
At least you saved the best goat for last, right?
That's right.
We
Absolutely.
did. We absolutely did. And we didn't even know about Juniper at that point.
Right? Right?
She's the cutest.
She is.
I'm going to have like a couple of all of them. Like,
Call me.
I might. I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.